Hey everyone, welcome to the Dunce Duffer podcast.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Some content may be offensive.
So if you are easily offended, please do not continue.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dunce and Duffer podcast. Thanks for tuning in again. We hope you enjoyed the last podcast. It was obviously the first time we did it. Hopefully better, not too bad to begin with. Again, if you're easily offended, just not listen to this shit, alright? You're offended easily, you're a bitch, like I stated in the last one. I'm here with
Anyway, I'm the co-host, also the second host.
Yeah.
And today, the topic at hand is dumb kid stories. So mostly going to be focusing on dumb stories from childhood, anywhere from like 14 below.
Yeah.
So
I don't really have that good of a memory, so it's mainly going to be the old dunce here.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I, surprisingly, with the strict childhood that I actually had a lot of dumb stories.
Yeah.
So
I do remember one. It was about being thrown into a bush.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
But before we get into the topic at hand, we are going to have just a little chatting session. So
TED Talk.
A chatting session.
TED Talk.
Anyway, any topics that you want to bring to the table?
Well, first off, what's your New Year revolution? Teaching me better grammar. No.
Yeah, my New Year's resolution is to make you go back to high school and pass on your own without my help this time.
I was gonna say I barely did it, so I'm gonna be fucked again. They're gonna be like, "Oh, back so soon." I'm gonna be like, start drooling and shit, eating crayons.
Back to the state of which I found you.
Pretty much. Hey, what's going next? You know, nah. Seriously, what is your New Year's resolution?
I'm not too sure. Didn't really come up with one. I never really do.
I know. I mean, you're not gonna follow them anyways.
No.
What's the point of doing it? You know.
No, I can't even follow a fucking life schedule as is, let alone a whole fucking schedule to make myself a better person.
I don't even follow the food pyramid though. I eat dirt and sand for breakfast.
And then you'll have a taco with chocolate in it for lunch.
No, that's diabetes right there, dude. No. I feel like mine is personally actually going to be like working out more.
Yeah.
I mean, because leg day is pretty much covered every day because of work. But you know, I got to get my upper body back into shape. I mean, it's pretty good so far. But
I mean,
I can get a lot bigger than this. I'm choosing not to. The thing.
Working out's a pretty common resolution.
Yeah.
That usually lasts about half a month, and then they're like, "Man, better luck next year."
Well, you see, that's the thing though. I'm a sigma male.
Exactly. That's why you just fucked up that sentence.
I'm an alpha Chad, bro.
You are definitely suck my balls.
I'm a giga boy, right? No. So, yeah. What's yours? Resolutions.
We don't actually care. Because no one's going to fucking listen.
We do not give two fucks about what. Oh, my mommy. She said I could make candles with my steel wax. Make a dick out of shit. I don't know. I'm losing it, bud.
I don't know. Anyway.
No, but I did have one little thing I wanted to do before we actually got into the main topics.
Go for it.
Which was, obviously, like, whenever you're meeting somebody new for the first time, you'll typically, like, shake their hand with, a nice firm grip.
Right.
Right? Then there's those people who you go like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? My name is so-and-so." And then they grab just the tips of your fingers.
With their whole hand.
Yeah. So you're expecting, like, an actual firm hand-to-hand shake, not a weird little kissing the Queen of England's fucking forearm, you know? Like, it's fucking weird. And then there's the one who, like, overdo the squeeze. You know, you're like, "Oh, I'm all power." You know, and you're just like, "You're breaking me, bud. Stop." You know? But, like, but Dunce here, he got a pretty fucking stern one, man. It hurts. He jerks off too much.
Oh, yeah.
We all do.
For sure.
You're gay if you're listening. What does that make us if we're the one making it?
Anyway.
That's pretty much all I really had. Because it just really annoyed me whenever that happens. It's so fucking annoying. Like, shake the hand, not the fucking fingertips.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's like you're trying to look in my nails and see if I got any dirt or anything.
Anytime someone gives me that type of handshake, I almost want to like grab their wrist and like finish the handshake.
Right. Yeah, and now that's a formal handshake though. Is whenever you grab like the normal handshake, but then you grab their like weenus.
You grab their weenus and then shake the whole arm.
Well, kind of. You kind of just let it rest there and shake the hand, but I guess you can do a whole.
You're just like roboting them. You're controlling
like,
them.
Basically, like the motion of like a you're like pumping out a new round in your 30-30 Winchester.
They think you're going for a handshake, but you're just trying to put them in a pit maneuver.
You're like die, you know. No, but those people who do that, or they should just go to the gulag or something. You know, no, they can't be bought back either. If they win, then they're just gonna get thrown back into a worse one. You know.
If you win, they only let you come back if you learn how to, give a proper handshake.
Could you imagine that if that was an actual tutorial and so like you're welcome to the gulag. Yeah, you won. No, sit down and have a bitch. Listen to how you shake a hand proper. And you're like, well, I don't know. Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho, yeah, that's one of those rants again.
I don't know. I didn't really think of anything to bring to the topic.
Yeah, I don't really.
I was kind of just waiting for your handshake spiel.
To figure out something, or like.
No, it was just I didn't have any topic to bring to the random chat time.
Oh, well, I do know one, and that is family reunions. Why do they exist?
Because people love to see their family that they don't get to see.
Yeah, well, maybe if they were a real family, they would see each other more often.
Well, the world drags them apart. That's why a reunion is needed.
Family sticks together, no matter the cost.
Okay, Dom. Like I know you own a gun, and you're getting a little bald, but still.
Dude. Nah, family reunions though, I absolutely hate the amount of groping that goes on in those things. Now, if you watch Lightning Wolf's channel and you watch the Fall Guys video that I'm in, you understand what I'm talking about. The nads, the squeezing of the gonads is out fucking rageous, man. Now, I'm not being literal. Nobody actually walks up like, oh, my wigwam baby, let me touch your balls. No, that's not happening.
Instead of like grabbing your cheeks and like wringing them around, they grab your nutsack and just jiggle a little bit.
Just like pull your foreskin out. Like,
oh. Anyway, we've chatted for way too long, and a good portion of this is getting cut out.
I hope not.
So
it's gonna be the best part. What everybody wants to listen. Not this part. The last part.
So let's get to the actual topic at hand. Do you recall any dumb kid stories? If you don't,
I have one.
Then you might want to tell it first.
All right. So it was the year of 1984.
You were born not too long ago.
No, I'm fairly certain it was either late sophomore year or early junior year.
So not even that very long ago.
No,
okay.
No, it was like just
childhood stories about 5 years ago.
Well, it's the only other one I can remember as me being a child.
Well,
you don't realize I have the body of a grown man.
You do not.
Of a toddler.
You don't have the body of a grown-ass man either.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Continue your fucking junior high.
That's still high school. I hate that dumbass fucking thing.
Anyway.
So, there was an assembly, and our home bleachers, there was like this giant ass fucking ramp that you had to walk up and down, obviously, to get onto the bleachers. Naturally there were stairs, but that was like for cripples and shit. So a couple buddies and I were obviously standing over there because we didn't want to deal with the fucking assembly because it's fucking retarded. You know, they're like, oh, you gotta stop with all this depression. be normal. You know, like, that's fucking logical in a fucking high school. You know, I mean, it's like all that is for is drama. But anywho, so I was sitting on the railing, and my buddy, one of my buddy one, comes along and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to see what I'm about to do?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he like runs over and like flips over the rail, like just like jumps and rolls over, like doing quote parkour. And I'm just like, "Oh man, that was badass." Wink, you know, just trying to be like nice to him. And buddy number two is like, "Oh, why don't you do it, Debo? You can do anything." And I'm like, "That's a fucking lie." And he's like, "What are you saying, you a pussy?" And I was like, "No, I'm just saying I'm fat." And he's like, "Oh, great, what, try it." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I go to get up, right? First off, when I first took the first step, I tripped, face planted there, right on my shoelace. So that was great. And they all started laughing, obviously, like, "Oh, dumbass." And I'm like, ouch, you know, like, man, my friends are so nice to me. So I get up and I'm like, "You know what? I did it on purpose, bitches. I purposely stepped on my shoelace. I preemptively untied it when you guys weren't looking. That's how smart I am. That's why I'm in the 5th grade level in my mind, alright?" You know? Anywho, so I go to take a jump. Like I'm running at this fucking, you know, rail. It's about like maybe 4 foot tall. It's not that high, but it is at the same time. You know, it's normal height for a little rail. And so I'm going, and I'm just like fucking booking it. My body was ready for it, but it wasn't ready for the fucking 5 inch foot fucking, you know, 5 inch foot. The 5 inch of concrete sticking out of the ground, which was what the ramp was to. So I trip over that, knock my head in the fucking rail, and I continue to go at full speed after the fucking headbutt to the rail, and I flip over the fucking rail, and then got a whole asshole full of fucking gravel because it was right on this huge plump ass fucking cantaloupe of a rock, you know. So my cheeks were spread, fucking hurting like a damn motherfucker, and you know, here comes the fucking teacher, like, "Oh, what's going on? You guys aren't even paying attention to the assembly." And I'm like, "Help me, I can't get up." You know, like the fucking ad,
the old help, the grandma ad.
You know, I'm
the
like,
life alert.
I followed it. I can't get up. You know, and then there's like, T-Bone, why don't you get up? And I'm just like, I'm kind of in pain right now. And he's like, "Why? You guys horse playing over here? You guys making out or anything?" We're like, "No, we're not gay." And he's like, "How dare you assume that you're not each other's gay?" You know,
what the fuck?
How dare you? And we're just like, "We're not." You know, like, "How do you know?" Yeah, I'm like,
"I want you to be gay. In my fantasy, I've already wrote it."
I have a full catalog about how you specifically are homosexual. No. But yeah, basically, I go to fucking get up, and so I do very fucking slower than I normally do. Keep in mind, because I have a fucking huge rock in between my fucking cheeks.
I forgot about that already.
Yeah. And I'm like standing up with a fucking arched back. I'm like damn the hippopotamus over here.
I mean, I'd expect you to be arched if something was stuck up your ass.
Yeah. Like, it was a definition of a corn cob up the butt. Like, it hurt, man.
A rock-sized corn cob.
So I go to, like, slowly walk over there. I'm obviously limping and shit, looking like a zombie from The Walking Dead.
You look like you got something stuck up your ass, is what you look like.
Yeah. So my buddy number one, he comes, because he's still behind me. They're both, like, basically behind me. The other one's to the right of me. So he's, like, obviously, they're both laughing their asses off. Not only because of me, fucking face planting into a rail, and then face planting into the fucking ground, and then fucking face planting into the fucking, you know, other ground on the other side of the rail, and then getting a fucking rock shoved up my butthole. You know, so that was all one great thing. But then the fucking teacher who's like, "Oh, why aren't you gay? Like he has some kind of issue from his childhood about being gay or something, you know?
It's like, you guys, emo kids, are not gay? Oh, I bullied those people for being gay. You're telling me I was wrong?
How dare you? No, but so they're dying. So buddy number one, he's fucking just laughing his ass off, and then buddy number two is also just giggling like a little pervert, like yeah, you know. So they look over each other and they have like telepathy or some shit because I wasn't getting the joke. So I turn around and I'm just like looking at them. They're both like poking each other, laughing their asses off. I'm like, what's so funny? And then they're like, oh, it was just so funny what you did. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So I turn around. You know what buddy number one does?
What?
Have you ever heard of something called a corn cob or a corn dog?
Yeah, the corn dog. Yeah,
we call it a corn cob.
We call it corn dog.
Yeah. So basically, he comes full sprinting at me like a damn quarterback, and knee to the fucking cheeks, where the fucking rock was already at. Therefore, I basically gave reverse butt baby. All right. I mean, it was like taking the fattest shit of my life, but in reverse. And it fucking killed me. I instantly just fell to the ground. I'm basically paralyzed. They're all like, ah!
Okay,
You know.
let me put this into perspective. You had a rock lodged in your ass cheeks, not
Yes.
fully up ass yet.
No, it was like tickling the butthole.
And
you know?
your buddy corn dogged you, shoving his knee into the rock, shoving the rock up your rectum.
Practically, yeah. Now, I would go ahead and say something else about
Right.
previously having something done. It's not the right time. But now keep in mind, again, the very beginning, I face planted into the fucking concrete. I
So
trip over the fucking concrete that I already tripped on, and then face planted into the fucking rail. And then cheek spread, God fucking ram cock and ass with a rock. You know, bam, right there. And then he proceeds to no lube or anything, shove a flake of gravel in my asshole. And they're just laughing it up. So what I do in return is I pick my ass. I get that out of my butthole, and I fucking throw it right into his mouth. Because keep in mind, he's laughing. He can't breathe anyway. I'm like, that's the first and only time I've ever had precision aiming. Because I was just seeing fucking red. As a matter of fact, I was seeing brown because of all the shit that was in my head from the fucking corn dog he did.
All the shit on the rock
You know,
as well.
I mean, it fucking sucked. And what does the teacher do this whole time? No, I can't believe you're not gay.
He's still
watching
upset.
the sky.
He's looking at the sky. Why? Why are they not gay?
God help me. I wanted to have teens I could have sex with.
Ew.
That should be good.
Get back to your shit joke.
So anywho, I basically flick this fucking shit-covered rock into his fucking mouth. He pukes all over buddy number two. In return, buddy number two pukes on me.
Ew.
And now I typically have a pretty good fucking stomach, but previous to them puking, they ate. All right, and what they ate was the nastiest shit I have ever.
I mean, it's
of.
lunch from a school.
Yeah. And keep in mind, for an assembly, they have like a quote grill out thing they do. So he basically puked out a full hot dog. Pretty much, it wasn't it was chewed. Like just imagine a hot dog being stepped on, and then that's what he puked up.
Ew.
And it was just like a mix of like coleslaw, like school coleslaw, not like store bought or homemade. It was like blades of grass covered in vinegar and sour cream
and mayonnaise.
You know, and so that went like basically it touched my chin. Okay, now like I said, I have a pretty decent stomach, but when a smashed hot dog that was inside of somebody's gullet comes and slaps me on the chin,
See,
I'm gonna puke too.
He had precision aiming, is what he had.
He did.
He was like, "Fuck you for hitting him in the mouth. I'm gonna hit you in the mouth, bitch."
Dude, and it was fucking gross. So I, in return, puke all right, in my hands because I was trying to catch that nasty ass hot dog for some fucking reason.
Your instinct was something got thrown at you. You were gonna catch it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I fucking chunks of just fucking bread, apples. Fucking applesauce just fucking falling on my hand.
God.
The fucking teacher is finally like, oh, fine, I guess they're not gay then. Whatever. So he turns around and sees me holding puke running down my fucking face. He sees us over there looking like zombies with puke all over us. And then he's like, puke is he's just fucking projectiles all over us, basically.
He cropped us and y'all with puke.
How he didn't hear any of this is what I'm wondering.
He was monologuing, obviously.
He had that fucking voiceover, just like, well, today, not gay.
My fantasy's been ruined. Anyway, I should turn around and check on him. What?
Pretty much, dude. So, it was fucking just a huge show. It was like such a comedic thing if it wasn't first person.
Right.
Like, if I was in the background watching them, like, one person flicks something and the other pukes and the other pukes and then the puke, etc. That would have been fucking hilarious. But I experienced that shit first fucking hand. It was disgusting as shit.
You had the POV.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, whenever that rock was in his mouth, then he puked and also like flicked into his face.
Ew.
So he got like basically a little shit stain on his cheek.
Buddy number 2 got not only did he like puke from seeing the dude puke, but he had the fucking shit rock being puked onto him.
Yeah. It was fucking grody, dude. That is like the worst assembly in my life.
And that was your what, junior year?
Well, it's either late sophomore or early junior. I can't remember.
I don't think it was your junior because I wasn't at your school.
Sophomore.
Yeah. So it was probably your sophomore year because your junior year I would have at least remembered hearing about that.
And it was fucking disgusting. And then we went to the fucking nurse, obviously because we puked, you know.
And she just like wipes the shit off number 2's face.
Almost. Similar, except we walked in there, we got puke all over our fucking chest, you know. And
especially you're fucking holding it.
Yeah, like my fucking hands were covered in just chunkables, bro. You know, like just greenish, fucking lime-colored chunks, bro. And so we go in there, the teacher's furious. He's like, I can't believe you're not gay.
He walks in there to the fucking nurse and he's like, can you believe it? They're not gay. And she's just like looking at all you guys covered in puke. She's like, yeah, what happened? How'd you figure that out?
How'd you know? I tried to seduce him with my seductivity. And then, like,
they puked. And I puked.
But
we all puked.
No, so
there's a hot dog somewhere.
Right, he's just obviously so fucking red, and we go in there. All 3 of us are sitting like right next to each other, just in a line, and she's like just looking at us with the most dazed and confused look, and she's just like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well." You know, wiping chunks off my chin to speak. I'm like, well, because they're falling down on my pants. And she's like, it's like without even like moving her head, she grabs a towel and it's like
hands you a towel.
I'm just like, oh, thank you. I just like patting my chin, and I had this little piece right in the back, like right where like the back of your teeth are in that little cheek spot. This huge chunk. So I bet it looks like the bottom of like a squirrel's when it's got nuts in his mouth.
Yeah.
And so it was sticking out. I didn't realize it because I was obviously like bad.
You were in a daze.
So, yeah, and she's just like, you got a little something in your mouth there, and I'm like, what? And she just like slaps.
Oh, she slaps the chunk.
She just like slaps it out and like spews onto buddy number 2 again, and he just like almost puked again, but buddy number 1 was like holding his mouth shut.
He
like,
slapped him in the face.
He's like, no. And so I'm like basically explaining to her, I was like, well, it all started with buddy number 1 trying to do some parkour, and she instantly just lost faith in everything after that.
She instantly knew that it was going downhill.
She's like, parkour, oh my god, you know. And so I'm like, yeah, he did a cool flip, and I was like, man, I don't want to do it. And they're all like, come on, do it, you. And she's like, whoa, watch the language. And I'm like, oh, excuse me.
I was just telling it accurately.
Pretty much. I was like, I was just being honest, And so, long story short, I told her, I was like, well, I go to get up, trip, get up again, go run, trip, face plant into the rail, continues to fall over the rail at the force of God, and then a boulder was rammed up my butt. And I could tell she was trying her hardest not to laugh.
She was just like trying to be the really nice mom at the moment.
She had the basically the grin of the Grinch, pretty much. This huge fucking smile. Her fucking cheeks were getting red and shit. And I'm like, so basically this rock was basically pushed my feet in my butt, And
it actually went back through my large and small intestine and then came back out.
Right. And so the teacher came over. Obviously, he's seen us horse playing and was like, stop. And then we went to go walk over to the assembly. And buddy number one, and he's just looking at me and he's like,
he's just
shaking his head no.
Shaking his head frantically.
Because he doesn't want me to rat him out. And I'm just like, it hurt. I look at him, I'm like, it hurt. I'm gonna tell her what you did. And he's like, no. And then everybody's just like, well, not everybody, but the nurse is confused. She's like, let's go, what? What did he do? Did he hit you in the nuts or something?
Now she's invested now.
And I'm like, and like I just whip my head over with like the weirdest, stand. I'm like,
Don't forget that there is not only are you whipping your head around, but you are also sloshing all the vomit.
Yeah, it's like a huge wave of pukables. Anyway, so I just like look back over at her. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "You've seen the TV show Flash, have you?" And she's like, "I mean, I've heard of it." I'm like, "But you know who the Flash is?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Take that speed." And then him running at that speed. And continues to ram his knee at that speed in betwixt my cheeks. And she fucking died. And the teacher was like, oh, don't be so rude, come on. And she was like starting to pant a little bit. She's like, God. And I was like, you know why it hurt so much? I've had knees in my butthole. But not a knee pushing a rock deeper into my butthole. And she totally forgot about the rock.
I know. I did too originally.
And she was like, oh shit. And so the teacher, he was just sitting there like, what am I going to do? Because it's like his responsibility now.
He's like, I can't call their parents. What am I going to say? Your son had a rock shoved up his ass?
Because they're homosexual. Apparently not, though. But no,
my gay fantasies almost came true today. A rock took my place.
She was like, okay, but what's the deal with the puke? And I was like, well, I didn't like him pushing something deeper into my butt. So I picked that rock out of my butt crack and I flicked it into his mouth. And she instantly just like lost faith again. She's like, oh my God. And in which case my crap covered rock was like halfway down his throat and he puked all over him, buddy number two. And then buddy number two realized that shit rock smacked him in the face along with more puke. And so he puked on me. And she's like, so is it all over your hands? And like smeared or something? Like trying to wipe it off? I was like, no, I tried catching it. So you tried catching your puke. And I was like, well, there was a hot dog that came out, and for some reason I wanted to catch it. I forgot I was puking. Then she basically just cleaned this up about that whole napkin thing. She basically was like really disappointed. Obviously, that's probably the worst thing she's seen in a while.
Yeah,
like all year
at a school.
Yeah. So she walks over. Now keep in mind, so we all have our weird things that we don't like. Like I personally, I cannot stand. I don't even like saying it, but lotion. I fucking hate it. It's disgusting. The word itself makes me want to gag. I just naturally, I just don't like it. I don't have a specific reason. I just don't. Smell, everything. I just never liked it. He was deathly terrified of baby wipes.
Buddy number what?
2.
Oh.
The one with the shit stain on his
Yep.
face.
Yep. Shit stain.
He is just deathly terrified of baby wipes. I don't blame him. I mean, I'm not gonna wipe my butt crack with a moist substance. You know?
Moist towelette.
Moist towelette. So she gives him this little box, little baggy box thing, whatever, of the baby wipes, and he's like, no. She's like, no, you wipe your face off, and he's like, not with those. And she's like, well, do you want me to get a paper towel and dampen it? And he's like, yeah, sure, thank you. And he's like, well, we're out of fucking paper towel. She didn't say that, but she was like, well, we're out of paper towels, so. And he's like, well, why'd you ask? And she was like, oh, to make you feel more comfortable. You know, more like being a dick. And so she literally just sat there and made us all sit there fighting against each other so we could fucking leave. You know, she's like, none of you are leaving until he wipes his face off. And then I'm just like, I'm licking off of him. You know? I'm like, I want to go back, man. It's time to leave. So we just like, you know, buddy 1 and because buddy number 2 is in the middle. So buddy 1 and me just like look over him. We're just like, gotta do something, bud. We gotta do something. And he's like, yeah, I know. Ready? And I'm like, no, for what? And he just like jumps on him. And I'm like, watching as they're like basically wrestling at this point. I'm like, good heads up, bud. I didn't know what we were doing.
He probably wanted you to just.
Yeah, he wanted me to grab his other arm while he held one down. And I didn't know that because he didn't tell me that's what we were doing. Yeah, we have to have some kind of code, you know. Right. And he's just like, "You ready?" And I'm like, "For what?" And like,
he just grabbed onto
you know?
his arm. And
then buddy number 2 is obviously just like fighting back. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" And then buddy 1's just like looking over me, like, "Get the baby wipes now, hurry!" You know. And I'm just like, "Huh?" You know,
in an Arnold voice, it's like, "Get to the chopper." He's
like,
"Get the baby wipes."
Get the baby wipes. You know. And so she's just like pulling them out as I'm taking them. You know, she's like, I'm like, that's one too many. You know, so I just slap him. I'm just like, I got you. And I just like pressure of God, smear it. Didn't wipe anything off. I just basically pushed it into his pores.
Yeah, all you did was inject it into him.
I'm just like, you know. Ew. He's just like, fuck, stop. And I'm just like,
you're just repeatedly slapping him in the face with baby wipes.
Almost. But no, I basically, like, you know those little copper brushes you can use on like skillets and pans and stuff? I'm basically doing that to his fucking face, dude. I'm just
the only small like appliance between your fist and his face was the little layer of baby wipes that he was just rubbing his face raw with. Yeah, they weren't even moist anymore. They were just on fire.
I know. It was one hell of a day, though, I'd say that. That was pretty much my story.
Jesus Christ.
So, not only did I tripped, right away, very beginning, I tripped. Face planted into the concrete. I get up. I go to run, trip on the same concrete I tripped on first, face plant into the rail, which is forcing my momentum over the rail, into which ramming a fucking boulder in my asshole. And then I get that same boulder rammed even deeper from my buddy, and then we all puked on each other, and then we were made fun of for not being gay. And yeah, so
what a turn of events.
I know, it was just one hell. Like I said, if I watched that on a TV show, that would be great. It would be hilarious. But I didn't like doing it at first person point of view. Just feeling the amount of like salicylic acids.
Yep, you're getting
the stuff from your stomach all over my face and my hands, and then noticing a raw hot dog just laying there. You know, it was kind of fucking gross. You know, best part about it was, you know, knowing that both of my buddies had some portion of my shit on them. You know, so that was great.
Oh, buddy number 1 didn't have it on him; he had it in him.
I mean, he pushed it in me, so I decided to push it back in him.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So all you seen was, it was like he was wearing blackface pretty much, except shit.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna puke.
And it wasn't no like dry shit. It was wet.
It was just shoved up the ass. It's not gonna be dry. It had no fucking air cooling time. Right? You just flick that shit from ass to mouth. If anything, it got more moist by the liquids.
Like, if any of you are actually listening, basically, if you have a marble or something like that sort, grab it, put it in your mouth, and roll it around. And that's what that rock was like covered in shit in his mouth. In which case, spitting it onto him, smearing shit onto him.
Just saying, if you for some godsaken reason decide to put a marble in your mouth and then imagine it covered in shit, if you puke, do not blame us. When your mom beats your ass for puking on her carpet, do not blame us, you little shits.
Yeah, you fucks. Unless you're an adult, then you're a dumbass.
Puke all you fucking want, bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my story. So you got one there, Dunce?
I mean, I could start with the small story that you mentioned earlier about
the bush.
Me getting tossed in a bush.
We say bush. It was more of a thorn bush.
It wasn't a thorn bush. It was a thorn forest. It was not just a singular bush. This was the entrance to thorn hell.
It was basically Garden of Eden, just all thorns.
Yeah. So. All right, I'm at my cousin's, right? Me and him are working on this truck. Well, originally, we're just going to change the tires, and then we're going to drop it, see if, it starts, all this shit. But we're going to get the tires changed first. At this point, I had a four-wheeler, so we just put the tires on that, and we'd move it around. So I get, we have the tires over there, and we're going to try to get it on, and then we realize we only have one jack. And the only jack that we have is the long, whole body car jack that you have to have the long pipe to jack up.
Right.
But obviously, we were poor, so we had the shittiest version of that jack possible. So he didn't want just put one side up and one side on cinder blocks. So it stayed up. He wanted to put it right in the middle of the front bumper. Right in the middle of it. I told him that, because I owned a four-wheeler. I lived maybe 4-minute drive away from him on the four-wheeler. I told him that I could go get my jack from home. He had one. And he's like, no, you're already here. I'm like,
something I would do.
Yeah, but safety and all that shit,
Yeah, I do that for the most part.
And anyway, so he puts it there, and I'm trying to get out of the way for one, because we have it jacked up way too fucking high. But he's like, we need all this extra room, so we have so much room to work. It's
you do that shit.
It is.
You do that shit to me.
It is way too fucking high, okay? Way too fucking high.
Now I know where you get it.
Yeah, my cousin fucking did it to me. I'm hoping that it happens to you, bitch.
Oh, here, let me just stand up and lift it over my head, and then you can crawl under there.
And I'll drop it on you.
Yeah. So no tires or anything.
So there was this telephone pole, cut in half. The very, very end of this telephone pole was underneath the tire, right?
Yeah.
Well, where the tire's supposed to be. So the axle and all that, it's just right there underneath that.
Yeah.
And for some fucking reason, I decided to get out of the way. Instead of standing, in front of it or behind it or around it, I'm just gonna stand on top of the very edge of this telephone pole. And right now it's even, right? It is completely flat. My cousin is taking the tire and he's trying to put it on by himself and he's missing. You know how
you have to hit the bolts.
Yeah, slides right on. No, he didn't look to make sure he was lined up before he did it. He just tried to do it, which was shaking the truck because he kept missing, hitting the rod. And so, what happened? The jack, the singular jack, fell over, dropping the vehicle. he got out of the way. Like, he like sucked in, because he's a real skinny guy. He sucked in the tire into his gut, so he was out of the way. And the fucking truck. This is like a Suburban, by the way, not just like an actual truck.
Oh, so it's a big one.
Yeah, it hit the telephone pole, launching me over the truck into the thorn bush. And my cousin's just laughing his ass off. I'm not talking. I'm just like, because I can't move. Every time I move, a new thorn enters my body.
Fucking thorn of crowns, just your whole body.
And so he's just laughing, he's laughing, and I'm like, I am trying to swim out of this thorn forest.
Right.
And by the time I get out, I literally look like a fucking porcupine. I look like a reversed porcupine.
Fuck.
And he's laughing, he's like, you good? And I'm like, no, I have a thorn everywhere. And he's like, everywhere? And I'm like looking at my dick and I go, everywhere, you piece of shit.
Fuck.
And he's laughing his ass off, and I'm like, I'm never helping you ever again. And then literally 2 days later, I was helping him. But
you're a real piece of shit. I hate you. Next day, he's like,
we took a break, and he helped me get all the thorns out.
There's probably a lot.
There was.
And then the little small fucking doodads too. Oh man.
Yeah, the small little chigger things.
Yeah.
God, they sucked.
Man, dude, I bet you were fucking scratching everywhere.
I definitely took a shower after that, and it didn't feel like I did.
See, my rock scratched places you can't.
Your rock scratch places that you can't get to with a shower head.
Oh shit, I mean, unless we're into that. No judgment here.
You just get a detachable shower head just so you can spray up your ass.
Like, oh yeah. I've had liquid.
It's like, man, I love this detachable shower head. What do you need it for? You're like, nothing. I don't use it.
I'll make sure I wipe it.
Ew.
Oh, that's fucking grody, dude.
Funny enough, I have another dumb story that has to do with him.
Oh yeah?
Well,
I have another.
Most of it doesn't have to do with him specifically. It has to do with being over there. I was over there. I think I was helping a different cousin. I think I was helping him destroy a shed.
Oh great, yeah. That shouldn't be that hard. You kind of just knock the corners.
No, well, we had to clean it all out and stuff first, and then do it to where it wouldn't disturb anybody. Even though literally the only people on the property were like my aunt and uncle, right? But whatever. That's not actually like this part of the story.
That matters,
right? Like, we got it done. He was like, maybe you could come back tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, sure. I'm going home.
Right.
On my way home, again, I'm on a 4-wheeler. On my way home, there is it's not even a 90, it's an acute angle. So you should, if you're not coming to a full stop before you turn, you are drifting this corner way too fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I decided to do. And as I'm drifting,
I think I remember this.
As I'm drifting this corner, I realize I'm falling off the 4-wheeler. As I'm drifting, my left leg is caught underneath the back wheel, and then all of a sudden, I am being dragged on the ground at full speed. And my right hand is on the throttle, pushing it all the way up, and I just cannot let go, because if I let go, I'm afraid I'm going to get thrown off. So I am dragging myself across this whole fucking gravel road. This whole time, it is running over my left leg.
Yeah.
My left leg is still underneath the tire. And then I finally make it, slip my thumb off of the throttle, and I slow down.
Yeah, but you're still fucking going.
Still dragging myself underneath the fucking 4-wheeler.
Oh.
And so, I finally come to a stop. I'm laying on the ground with my four-wheeler on top of my fucking leg.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I just broke my leg. It's broke. I can't fix it. I'm going to lay here. I wasn't even supposed to drift that corner. What am I going to tell my dad? He's going to kill me. He's going to break my other leg because I broke my leg.
He's going to fix my leg, then break it again.
I'm like, I'm fucking dead. I'm going to go home. My mom's going to cry. My dad's going to kill me. I get the four-wheeler off of me.
Right.
And I am limping, right? I basically cannot feel my left leg. I'm dragging it back onto the four-wheeler. Mm-hmm. And my four-wheeler had, obviously, foot stands. It wasn't just bottom. Yeah. And so it's just, extended all the way out, resting, and I'm driving home at such a slow fucking speed.
You're 1 mile an hour.
I was driving. I had 3 trucks pass me, and they're just like, "Hey,
extra safe." I like that.
And I'm not wearing my helmet or anything because I'm cool.
I'm cool.
The rule was that if I was going to drive the four-wheeler, I had to wear the helmet. So what I would do is I'd put the helmet on, strap it all together, and as soon as I was out of eyesight, I would take the helmet off and put it in between my crotch so I could ride the rest of the way.
Right, so you can face fuck.
Because I was cool. And then whenever I go home, there's this hill that if you're at the bottom of the hill, they can't see. That's usually where I took it off, so I put it back on. Later, for a different stupid story, at the bottom of this hill is an abandoned house. For a different story. So, I'm driving back home, really slow speed. I'm basically putting my helmet on as I'm driving, because that's how fucking slow I'm going. So I get back home, the adults aren't home, because they hardly ever were. My sisters were home, and I just, wobble into the house. And then I never did this as a kid. I immediately took a shower because my leg was fucking fucked up, roughed, bleeding, fucking rocks and shit everywhere. And none of my sisters knew. I've told them the story and none of them noticed. Because that's how little attention I got in the house. Right. No one expected anything from me because I was either out working with my dad, in my room, or I was at somebody's house. The only time I was at somebody's house was if I was at the cousin's working, or the very, very few times I was at a friend's house. Which, funny enough, not a lot of dumb shit happened when I was at a friend's house, but a lot of shit that... I take that back. A lot of dumb shit happened when I was at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of shit that I was not supposed to do happened at a friend's house. But, most of the time, most kids nowadays are if I told the stories of the bad shit I did, that would be...
compared to what they do now.
That would be literally, stuff they did at 2 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude, so, where you from?
My dad didn't even notice me limping for 2 or 3 weeks.
Really?
No one fucking realized how bad I was limping. My dad honestly would have just thought that he caused it and was trying not to pay attention to it. Mm-hmm. He was like, man, did my last time I abused him really do that much damage?
Oh man, that's crazy.
Man, I gotta pretend that I don't notice that.
I gotta increase it more. I gotta finish the job.
I really gotta move to his other leg next time.
Equalize.
If he's limping on both legs, he's just gonna crawl.
Exactly, and then I can break one arm.
Yeah, you go.
Alright, so I'm gonna have just a short sidebar. Because you were talking about how, the attention side of things, and it brought up this faint thought I had, which was me growing up. Obviously, I didn't really have, the need or the want to go out into the living room or something, because typically I was around my dad all the time.
Exactly.
So I would go upstairs when I had the free time.
Which, just to put in perspective, upstairs, depending on the season, was either boiling hot, because it's upstairs, so heat travels up, or freezing cold because there's no windows and it's boarded up by really shitty boards that have holes in them.
Yeah, so like it was like packed full of snow pretty much every day.
So it was basically Texas in his house upstairs.
Yeah. So anytime that me and my brothers were all in the same boat, because obviously brothers, we had the same parents, same lifestyle, everything. So we would obviously all go up there to, like
get away
from all the work and chaos and everything. So what I'm getting at though is holidays. Anytime I would go back to a parent's house or something, I would go into the room for a couple seconds, just like a few minutes at most. Then I'd come back out, and then the one thing I always hear, "Oh, you're not hiding anymore?"
Yep.
I fucking hate that shit.
The most common phrase was, "Oh, you're not in your cave anymore?"
I fucking hated it. "Oh, you came out of your hiding." Like I wasn't hiding.
Oh.
Well, don't. I was literally changing my fucking skid-marked underwear, Mom. You want me to fucking smell like asshole? Okay, there was a rock up there.
Mom, Mom, I puked.
You should know.
I was changing my clothes. Mom.
But yeah, that's just like the one thing I've always fucking hated. Also, I got like 3 different stories of childhood memories that lined up now that I remembered. So number 1, the first one I remembered was, obviously I was like maybe 13, maybe 12. It was a while back. So anytime that like we were able to be outside and not work, we were playing. So there's this variation of tag that we invented. I don't know if we invented it, but it was brought up and
right.
So we just talked about it and we made it into our own
I mean,
thing.
my school came up with monster tag, where you get tagged, you're also it. Everybody else that got tagged is also it. That was my school.
That's gay. So anywho, so what our variant was called was prison tag. Basically our yard was surrounded by a fence, obviously, and we have 184 acres of land. About 85% of that is open field. On my side. So it's basically an open field. So maybe 30 feet at a diagonal angle from my corner fence in the backyard, there's a little trench.
Yeah.
Where the gutters go.
Yep.
For the sink, plumbing, and it would drain out into that trench and fall out. So back to, just keep that thought in mind though. For the tag though, what it was basically outside, like inside of the fence was basically prison. So like that's where your prison was. So it was my dad, mom, uncle, aunt, cousins, shit like that. Normal like hangout sessions. So basically they were in there drinking, having fun, and they would like watch us kids play. And so when you're outside of the fence, that means you are escaping. You're escaping the prison. One kid would be the quote warden, and he's the one who has to go and tag everybody. When you're tagged, you have to get brought back, and if you want, because it's complete darkness, it's pitch black.
Right.
And my dad was the one with the spotlight, and obviously it's a really good spotlight, and he would just slowly scan it on the field. And if you got hit with it, obviously then the warden's gotta know where you're at so you can chase it down. And then my dad would try and attempt to keep it on you. Now, if you were good enough, like I was, you could actually juke it out and like think you won't, etc. Which was very skilled. So basically, that's basically kind of the layout of this game. So Tim, my brother, was the warden. So I, at this age, was a fast little shit. I mean, I would fucking bolt and on. So I was back towards the road fence, and so I'm fucking bolting it, right? And so my dad shines the light on me, Tim sees me, and he just sees me just going like a damn fucking cheetah. Out of nowhere, just gone. I would just disappear. He's like, he like even like went like this. He's like, where the fuck did you go? He like scanned it back and forth. What happened was as I was running, I didn't remember there was a trench there. So I got knee deep in shit. In literal piss and shit water. And I fucking go right into the fucking ground. And I'm slowly sinking into this piss and shit water.
Oh, God.
Tim, my brother, comes fucking running over and he goes, "You're it."
He slaps the shit out of you as you're already
And he's like,
shit.
as he's moving away, I'm like, help. I literally could not move. I fucking hit the ground. So I was concussed. I was fucking going, dude. I was like 30 mile an hour, dude. And I just fucking right to the fucking ground. And so he just like, "You're it." And I'm just like, I can't move. And he's like, "Get up, dude." I'm like, I can't. And it's like, "No, God, he's not playing right." And I'm just like, I can't move. And then Tim drags me out. He's like, "Oh my God." And I'm just like,
you smell like shit.
Pretty much. I'm just like, you know. And as I'm getting up and I'm slowly being able to walk, all my dad sees is a shit and piss covered T-bone. And he's just like, "Oh my God, you didn't know there was a trench there." I'm just like, I forgot. And he's like, "Well, you're stupid." And I'm just like, "I'm sorry." You know. And he's like, "You was pretty fast though." And I was like, "Great. I'm glad I was fast."
I'm glad I was quickly going to my doom.
Yeah, I'm glad my speed betrayed me. You know. Like, my speed literally pissed and shit on me. Like, it was fucking bad. Like, I was literally paralyzed for like a couple seconds. I couldn't move, man. But yeah, so that was that story. Another one I have is from, basically...
How quick is this one?
It should be pretty quick. They're both fairly quick.
Alright.
So, me and my brothers were upstairs wrestling. And some of the older matches, not Wayne. I mean, dunce. Anywho, so the older mattresses have the like springs in them, like the actual springs. Well, we had a mattress laying up against a wall. It obviously was kind of against the ground, like folded, kind of. And the springs were poking through and shit. So my oldest brother, decides to body slam me into this mattress, in which case causes my foot to fly down like Thor's fucking hammer speeding down onto Earth into this spring, causing my foot in the spring to collide, causing this spring to go halfway into my fucking foot. So I'm crying my fucking ass off because I'm like 6 or fucking 7. I'm young as shit. Fucking seeing a full fucking spring just in the middle of my foot, you know. And so I'm bawling my eyes off. My dad's sitting me on the table, and he's just like slowly unwinding this spring from my foot. And the one thing that made me stop crying right away was my brother David was sucking on a sucker, and my mom pulled that out of his mouth and stuck it into mine. And I just shut up. I was like,
yeah. Took the sucker away. It's just like. Okay, this from your perspective, your mom just like was rude to the piece of shit that hurt you.
Yeah.
But in a bystander's point of view, she took a slobbered on sucker and stuck it in your mouth.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure she did a little shaking.
She flicked the slobber off, blew on it, and then put it in your mouth.
Well, we all have the same DNA.
She spit on it, shined it a little bit, put it back in your mouth.
Spits on it more than it already was. Like her spit's any better.
Oh, it's mom's spit. It automatically makes it cleaner.
Yeah, my dad would know.
Ew.
So so that shut me up right away. I'm instantly like happy as spring is being uncoiled from my foot.
Oh, that's disgusting.
It fucking sucked, man. Another story that involves my older brother. He's the main cause for 90% of my brother's life issues, along with mine. So, the night previous of the morning I'm referring to, so basically, let's say tonight, right? We had a campfire, and there was a nice little fire, we grilled, etc. Did what normal campfires are meant to be for. And then, obviously, in the morning, the cherries and the coals were still hot in there. So, my dad, he said, "Hey, you two go and put those out and go ahead and put some water on it so it's not burning anything. Smart. So we go out there. We before we even do anything with the water hose, because that's what we were going to use. We're standing there looking at it, and my brother, he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, you want to make a bet?" I'm like, "It depends on what it is." You know, he's like, "Well, I bet you $5 you won't walk into those hot coals." Naturally, I'm like, "No." So you know what he does? He pushes me into those hot fucking coals. And the front of my foot is completely fucking burned. I have this giant ass fucking scar covering the fucking top of my foot. So keep in mind, whenever you get a bad burn, it likes to blister up and
that's about
become
second
like a
degree
boil.
burn.
Yeah. And so this huge fucking pus bubble is just floating there on top of my foot. So my dad was holding me behind, like, he had my shoulders and shit, and like my mom was holding my feet. I'm squirming and shit. So my mom is holding the foot, and she like pops it.
Oh,
and it spurts.
You're not supposed to pop those.
She did. It spurted all over her fucking face. In which case, causing her to puke all over that fucking open blister and shit. Fucking hurt like a damn motherfucker, man.
You're not supposed to pop those.
It worked out great. I'm telling you that.
That's disgusting.
That was sarcasm, by the way. Yeah. So those were those stories that I remember. So, yeah.
I mean, you made me think of one story. It wasn't like a dumb kid story, but it was just an instinctive story. My sister, one of my younger sisters, she, fucking around in her room, did whatever she was doing, and all of a sudden, from my room, which was very close, it was literally 2 steps away from door to door. She is screaming. And obviously, older brother, bolt in there. Neither one of us have front doors, so it's just from open door to open door. Sprints in there. And she is screaming at her foot, which has a nail going from the bottom of her heel to the out of the side of her heel. It went through foot, like from bottom of heel, out the side of her heel.
Damn.
And I literally grab her, shove her down on the ground, holding her foot in the air, and I just rip like the fucking nail out from her foot. Like I'm twisting it as I'm ripping it out. Like, and you just see a hole on the bottom of her heel, on the side of her heel, just like gushing blood.
Yeah.
And at this point, the adults were home, like surprisingly. And then they come rushing in, and all they see is me holding a bloody nail and my sister's foot.
They're like, "What have you done?"
And like my mom is screaming because her kid's hurt. And my dad's just like, "What the fuck happened?" And I'm like, "She stepped on a nail, so I took it out." and Megan, like, she's not like screaming anymore, but she's fucking crying because obviously she's in pain. A nail went fucking through one end and out the other.
Yeah.
And like they rush her to the hospital, didn't need to. And then they come back, and this kind of traumatized me a little bit. They were like, "It was good that you did that, but next time let us do it. If you were very close to tearing something in her foot." I'm like, "But I didn't, though." I was like, "Yeah, you didn't, but you could have." Like, "But I didn't." "Yeah? Think about it next time." Like, "But I didn't." And I was like, "Think about it next time."
Fuck you, you little shit. Shut up.
I'm just like, okay, yeah.
I'll just let her die next time, Dad.
I'll just let her scream until you go rip the nail out.
Oh my god.
It's like, it was just dumb shit like that. There was several times where I ripped my own nail out of my foot, but...
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is those little fucking, the thumbtacks and those little thumbtacks that are like flat rounded, you know? Those hurt, right?
Right.
But it's a mind game. Because, like, it fucking hurt. Like, you're there and you're, like, about to pull it out and you're like, it's gonna fucking hurt. But it's really not. You just pull it out real quick and you're done.
When you pull it out, the only time it hurts is as you're touching it to pull it out.
Yeah.
And as soon as you pull it out, you're like, oh, wow, my flesh is already, like, reconnecting.
Yeah, it's like, man, wow, I can walk again.
But a fucking nail?
Yeah. Dude. So,
it was a rusty nail as well. She had to get a tetanus shot.
Yeah. That reminded me of another one. So, we live down the road from the lake, so obviously there's a lot of fishing lures, fishing hooks, guts, fish bones everywhere. We were swimming, and I never did a lot of like swimming with any like shoes or protection on for my feet up until this happened.
Right.
So I was running into the lake, so my parents, they see me just like, and then instantly cry, turn around, and run back. And I was like, you know, just bawling my eyes out. And they're just like, oh my God. And my dad can't swim. So he's just like, honey, go get him. Pushing my mom into the water. You know, if there was like a Loch Ness monster in there, and I'm like, ah!
You'd be fucking dead because your dad can't swim.
So, anywho, I come back, and there is one of the biggest fucking fish hooks I've ever seen in my life. Shoved all the way through my big toe. Middle. Almost, like, it was touching my bone. It wasn't through my bone, but it was touching it. It was, like, right there. Completely wrapped around. So, obviously, we go home. Keep in mind, the hook's still in my fucking toe.
Alright, is this like the water that's straight down the road?
Yes, that lake. So, we go to the house. Obviously, I'm on the table again. My dad is, some fucking reason,
he has an operator mask on. Your mom's holding the light.
Like, scalpel. Scalpel. Give me scalpel. Give me scalpel.
And she, like, moves the light just barely and gets slapped in the face. I should hold it straight.
Oh. No, so, if any of you know what a fishing hook is, you know how on the fishing hooks they have a kind of arrowhead shape to it.
Was it one that had two like little nicks in it? Because some hooks have a hook and then two little sharp daggers at the end.
No, it was just the normal like standard fishing hook, but it was just a bit bigger. So basically, it has this kind of triangle shape to it, so that way if you catch one, it can't just like swim away.
Yeah.
So that hook kind of like, traps him. My dad was trying to pull the hook out with that still on.
Oh my God.
Now, if you get shot with an arrow, right, it goes through your arm. You break it and pull it straight through because then it's not going to get stuck on your fucking meat. Right. My dad didn't realize that until 5 minutes in when he's just like, he's like, why is it not coming out?
You're just laying on the table like,
literally,
like, I'm not a fish, Dad. Stop trying to hook it.
No, my mom was holding me, like holding my forehead down with a fucking leather belt in my mouth because I'm just like, she's like, I'm so sorry, and I'm just like, and then like she slapped me, like, bite the fucking belt because I was like, and she's like, no, bite it, and I'm like, and so my mom looks over like, what the fuck's taking so. Oh, Greg, and he's like, oh, what? And she's like, pulls out the pliers and just cuts it right off, and he's like, whoa, came out so easy. I'm great.
Oh my God.
And my mom's just like, really?
I married this?
Yeah. And he's just like, I cannot believe I finally got this out. Amazing. And meanwhile, I'm bleeding out of my fucking toe, and he's just sitting there like Superman, like, yeah. I did that.
He's looking around for all the hot babes, and all he sees is your mom just like shaking her head.
He's like, I saved my little again. And so there's that, and then plus like all the hundreds and thousands of nails and tacks and stuff.
Oh,
and horrible, man.
Well, that is probably gonna have to do it for this time. Probably. We will most likely have a part 2 because every time I tell a story, he has 3 more.
Kind of. Maybe. I told you I might remember a few.
Yeah. I mean, I look forward to a part 2. It was fun. It probably won't be next time because we don't like to have shit back to back. We'll probably space it out. But that was actually very entertaining.
I think so. Had to go by quick. Except for that rock that was in my ass.
That didn't go by quick at all.
No, I mean it did when it was projected out of his mouth, but Anywho, well, thank you guys for tuning in again. We hope you enjoy this shit. If not, then why the fuck you listening?
Yeah, why the fuck you still here?
For all who are actually listening to, thank you again. Highly appreciate it.
Smash like.
You better smash that logo thing.
He doesn't know how to YouTube.
I don't know how to tube you.
Smash like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Even though we're probably gonna upload.
You better
every
subscribe
Wednesday.
the like button and. Okay, no, for real. Again,
shove that like button
will
up
fuck
your
you.
ass like it's the Rock.
The Rock. Not Dwayne the Rock Johnson, but. But thank you guys again. We hope you all are enjoying your pathetic, impotent lives.
I love whenever you try to trash talk and
I
you
know.
can't speak fluent fucking English.
Better.
Anyway.
Alrighty, boys. Thank you guys, and.
See you next time. Bye bye.